And what happened, this is a real story. You're getting some insider baseball here, is I kind of figured the Democrats wouldn't be great at the launch of this.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, my feelings were validated because I went to several Democratic committees, local committees in rural areas. So the people are really on the thick of the people who are going to have a huge voter turnout against this. And one of them told me, like, look, we asked the state party and the DNC to help us with talking points 3 weeks ago, and we haven't gotten them. And that was when early voting had already started. And I had to write my own talking points and send it to them, which again was the apparatus of no kings and how democracy is worth fighting for and how
Mm-hmm.
these things can't go unanswered. And it's the reason that was necessary is because I've also talked to so many people who said, I have mixed feelings about doing this because I don't want to fight gerrymandering with gerrymandering. And this is what we do.
Right.
We stand on principle, we stand on our values, and that is good in peacetime.
Yeah.
But we aren't in peacetime. And I mean that literally and figuratively. And it's great to have our values until an ICE officer murders another person in the street. It is fantastic to stand on principle until we send boots on the ground into Iran and potentially ruin that country and send another generation to the Middle East to die for reasons of a vanity president or for
Mm-hmm.
the profits of the defense contracting industry. Like, make no mistake, if we don't have a counterbalance to Trump, those things will get worse. Everything that we've been complaining about, everything that we've been worried about, everything we've been screaming about for this entire year and a half that we've had to live under this regime that does not give one flying fuck about regular everyday people, but will enrich themselves at any choice they get, they have no accountability.
Yeah.
So yes, I don't like gerrymandering either. I think it's something we need to address so that this can't ever be used ever again. But at the
Right.
end of the day, it is necessary and it is right. So if
Mm-hmm.
people are trying to talk themselves out of it, I understand it, but get over it. This is the moment where we have to step up and fight back. And we might not like the way it looks, but it's necessary. Too much is on the line. Too much is at stake.
100%. Seth, can you believe those flyers?
Unreal. Unreal. As I said, the irony is just thick on this one that, you know, we know whose side, who was on which side in the civil rights movement. We understand that.
Yeah.
So this is crazy that you're coming over and saying that the Democrats who fought for civil rights are now trying to, you know, change or gerrymander with by asking you to vote. This would make sense maybe if this was a Texas type of scenario where the Democrats had just taken the reins and said, "We're changing it. We're not leaving it up to a vote. We're just going to do it."
Well, and
Well,
But
I
and
that's
that's
think
the
not
it's
what's
thing.
and I
happening
I
here.
think it's even more diabolical than that because I think what they're probably hoping is people are thinking that's coming from their Democratic
Yes, that's
leaders
it, Allie.
warning them against this gerrymandering. That's
That's
how I
exactly what it is.
interpret it.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's why it said vote immediately. Because
Yeah.
they knew if you don't vote immediately, then you'll be figured out that like, wait, this is actually from a sketchy source.
Right.
And again, the tactics, they have no shame. So the people behind the campaign for the redistricting amendment, they're called Fair Vote Virginia, and they did fairvotevirginia.com. The other side bought fairvotevirginia.org, which is a vote no campaign. I mean,
Wow.
and like that's again, when everyday people feel like the odds are so hard against them and like their
Mm-hmm.
voices don't matter because the resources on the other side is so well funded. And make no mistake, this is billionaires who fund right-wing candidates and right-wing and right-wing policy for decades. They're the ones who are able to flip into action this quickly. And
Yeah.
they do. And we just frankly don't have that on the left. And I think that's probably a net positive for us. But we have to acknowledge the reality that these things happen, which is why we should have been more ready at the jump to
Right.
be able to circumvent these things that I think I saw coming from a mile away.